everybody. It is your boy Sideshow along with Skeptic. We are the Devil's Work podcast, and we watch the world's most fucked up movies and tell them back to you so you ain't got to watch them.
And the theme of today's episode is consent. So if it's okay with you,
Yeah.
we're gonna do our show. And if it's not, you can just let us know. We're gonna give you 5 seconds to decide.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We're all about consent here.
And I'm realizing giving 5 seconds to decide and then just doing it anyway isn't consent, but it's a podcast, so you had time to turn it off.
Exactly. Let's take some ownership here.
I just got to make sure I'm not. They're like, oh, that's consent. Yeah, that's what I've been
Yeah,
doing.
exactly. Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I've
Don't do
been
that.
doing.
Don't do that. So we are here to cover which I just learned right before we started rolling, French Canadian film. Uh,
Oui, oui.
it is.
Poutine.
This is not a Fallout Boy lyric or title of a song, I should say.
Mm.
Humanist vampire seeking consenting suicidal person.
That would have been a banger of a Warped Tour band album name.
Absolutely.
That would have. Ooh, I write sins, not
Yeah,
tragedies.
exactly. Yep.
Amateur hour.
Yep. Oh man, this one was directed by Ariane Louis-Seize. This was 20. It says 2023 film, but it was wide release in 2024.
Mm.
But yeah. Oh man, this one's a fun one. This one's a
Well,
very fun
much
one.
much like the lead character of this film, the age of the film is a little deceptive.
It, yeah, exactly.
It's a little older than you might think it is.
Exactly. That's that's so good. That's very funny. All right. Yeah, and I don't know when I first saw. I think I saw that like this year. I want to say I saw it like maybe like 2 months ago,
Mm.
like a month ago. Loved it right off the bat. It was just one of those like, let's throw it on. I had the impression that it was gonna be some sort of like high pinkies up vampire art movie,
Hmm.
and I wasn't completely wrong. But
Yeah.
the entire thing took me for a loop. Like when I first saw it, I was just like, "Whoa, wait a minute! This is way funnier than I thought it was gonna be."
Yeah, it's another one of those where it's not really a horror movie.
No, yeah,
It's
yeah,
on Shudder, but it's just it's a rom-com in a horror movie's
yeah.
clothes.
The what I love, they have it underneath "Coming of Rage" and
That's
Shudder.
funny.
It's like hell yeah, that's a good category.
That is pretty funny. You know what though? I gotta say, content warning, grooming.
Yeah, yeah, weird, weird, but yeah,
She
absolutely.
Edward Cullen to that boy.
That's fucking funny. I know. It's not Twilight, but it's not like Nosferatu either. Although I'm gonna have a couple of notes in here that's gonna call back to that. But yes,
Hmm.
it's very much not even something in between that. I think it's pretty unique in its approach. It's very
I
fun.
I that's the one thing though. I had a hard time kind of feeling like it was unique in a world where Let the Right One In and What We Do in the Shadows exist.
That's literally what it is. That's
This is
literally what those are. Yeah.
this is both of those combined. That's like
Yeah.
straight up what this is. So I'm kind of like, I don't know, I'm a little torn overall because in a world where Let the Right One exists, it's just Let the Right One In
Hmm.
exists.
Hmm.
It's just like, well, if I have to choose, I'm obviously going to watch Let the Right One In.
Yeah, of
Like
course. Yeah, for sure. But it is I thought it was a really fun twist on that something on like something like that like bringing it into modern day something for this is really one for the kids. You know what I mean? Like I will it's funny enough my niece's name is Sasha as well. So
mm.
like I'm going to end
Oh
up
yeah.
showing this to her at some point, you know what I mean? Like and she's going to love it. She's going to have a great time. But I think like that's why I like it, and you're completely right. Those other movies exist, and that is very fair. But I think as a new thing, in the realm of today's society, and like how they portray a lot of really neat things in here, and I think they go about it in a very like delicate way, which is very interesting for a
I
vampire movie.
I enjoy in anything. I enjoy like a hidden society that's right on top of ours.
Oh yeah.
So like when she goes to the vampire dentist, like
Yeah, I
like
know, it was
that
so funny.
like that was pretty fucking funny.
That's
I can
super funny. Yeah,
I
yeah.
kind of like 5 minutes into the movie, I was like, okay, this is not gonna be dark.
No,
This is not gonna
it's
get
not.
gory whatsoever. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I knew what kind of movie it was within like those first couple scenes.
Yeah, and we definitely needed a palate cleanser from the recent shit we've been covering.
The dentist and then the vampire psychologist and
Yeah,
like
yeah. It's so good, dude. It's so fucking funny. Everything about it is very cleverly executed. It's a tight little movie. It's very
it
like a 90-minute film. That's
they
it.
didn't
And
they
out.
didn't they didn't really talk about it, but there's they like drive cars and stuff. It just makes me think like the vampire mechanic, it's like you middle of the night, you know what I'm saying? You show up at
Exactly.
like 3 in the morning to get an oil change.
That's so fucking funny.
I enjoy that in anything, any
So
type of
yeah,
layering like
yeah, that
that.
layer is super fun, and like it's neat to fill out the world as well. Like as we go on, we learn how big the scope of things are.
Hmm.
So I'll give the little synopsis right here. Young vampire Sasha has a serious problem. She can't kill. Her exasperated parents cut her off her blood supply, putting her life in jeopardy. Sasha meets Paul, a lonely teen with suicidal tendencies who is willing to give his life for hers. And they begin a nocturnal quest to fulfill Paul's last wishes. That's kind of the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah.
That's the entire movie.
I think honestly the title is just enough.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It got me in the seat. I mean, I was just like, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
in.
yeah. It's an interesting concept.
Mm,
I think in execution it ends up being, like I said, kind of a little close to some already existing movies.
yeah, sure.
There's definitely just thinking from like an armchair script writing perspective. There's things that I would have definitely done differently,
Hmm,
but
hmm.
it does have its merits.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And again, I think overall, I didn't expect it to be as fun as it was though. I didn't expect it to be like as lighthearted, and like it's actually genuinely got a lot of heart. Like we'll talk about it. It's a really interestingly made movie because you could tell like the cast and the crew, everybody like there was a lot of thought put into it, like and the performances. When they kind of like when they talk about the interpersonal relationships between them, I thought it was very neat how they handled a lot of the things.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like the aunt and the cousin and
So funny,
the bringing the clown over
so
and
fun, dude. It's
the just
so
sort of
good.
implication of just like,
Which,
they're
by the
just
way, before we even get into it, that clown was a real clown that they hired. They didn't tell him it was a vampire movie until after they shot his like intro bits, and they let him know what he was going to be doing.
that's funny. There's a lot to the art of clowning.
Yeah. So good.
I would definitely be really sketched out if a clown came into my house and just started dancing with the one
Yeah, yeah.
child that was there. I would just be like, that's what you're choosing to do? Like,
Yeah,
what?
yeah. It's very, very funny. But yeah, trigger warnings. I mean,
Chomo the clown.
I'm so stupid.
I'm
Uh,
sorry.
Trigger warnings. Obviously, it's in the title. Suicide.
Hmm.
Suicidal ideation. I think there was at one point. I don't want to say any like coercion, but yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, once there's an elephant in this room, and its name rhymes with Schmanthony Schmiedis.
Fucking
What? It's topical.
exactly. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
topical.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that for sure. Definitely like some kind of if you sit and think about it, but that's sort of every vampire story because there
I
is
was gonna
sort of that
say
like
that's kind of the power is the whole thing.
yeah, but it's also, it's it's there. It's an element and it's there.
Yeah, it is. And I don't know. I think, but overall, though, the movie isn't really, like we said, graphic. There's not a lot of violence in it. There's not a
Mm.
lot. It's really like
There's
as,
some biting.
yeah, yeah, but it's never really like even as violent. Like it's kind of like just them
No,
jumping on them
yeah.
and that's
Or
it.
like
Like
from
it's
a
not,
distance
yeah,
or
yeah. It's all like very, very artfully shot.
it's a pretty tame movie. If
Yeah, yeah.
you're like not into horror movies, you'll probably still really enjoy
Yeah,
this.
exactly. I think it's a pretty lighthearted one for anyone to really grasp
Oh,
onto.
oh, before I forget though, those bangs, that's a fucking trigger warning. Holy shit. Her barber is abusing that woman. That shit is fucking what came to mind literally was like brutalist architecture when I looked at those fucking
Architecture.
bangs. That shit was painful.
That's
She looks
funny
like
as
Kristen
fuck.
Ritter, but she got a vacuum on the front of her face. Like it's just not good.
That's funny as fuck.
As a long hair myself, I'm just
A
thinking like
long,
if I just had like that, I'm like that's
like a
like
type of
what
cat.
wow.
Oh man, that's so fucking good. So yeah, if all that sounds good to you, found this on Shutter right now. Like we said, I think it's pretty easy to get a hold of though if you want to rent it
Hmm.
anywhere. It's pretty easy.
I think it's other places too.
Yeah. But if that all sounds good, come along on this journey with us. We're gonna get started. So, the film begins with a birthday party for our lead, Sasha. Her family gifts her a keyboard, and she is excited. When her father, Aurelien, goes to give her a book for beginners, she immediately begins to play a little tune, and the whole family is surprised. Her aunt, Victorine, asks her mother, Georgette, if she had private lessons, but she tells her that this is the very first time she's ever touched the piano.
Play me a song, I'm a vampire.
That's good.
Yeah, if you saw me a second ago, my reaction was to how stupid my own joke was.
So, Aurelian comments that it must be in her blood. And while Sasha's cousin Denise rolls her eyes, quietly drawing in the corner. The doorbell rings, and Victorine says that it's time for another surprise. When Sasha runs to open the door, it's Rico the clown, an actual the clown that they hired but didn't disclose what kind of movie it was until afterwards, like I said. Rico does some dancing for them, and Sasha's the only one actively engaged. When he finishes, Denise asks, "Aren't clowns supposed to be funny?" And he replies with, "Well, the art of clowning is vast," and
Hmm.
begins a magic
That's what he
routine.
says. But I can do magic. You want to see some magic? You
Yeah,
like
yeah.
magic?
He says he starts a magic routine involving handcuffs, and he handcuffs himself behind his back, and he escaped to lock himself inside of a trunk. His whole thing is he's gonna escape from the trunk, which was I was like, oh, this is already bad. The way that the movie kind of sets it up, you're like, okay, he's not making it out that trunk.
Yeah. Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, already cracked what was going on pretty early into this scene.
Hmm.
I was just like, oh yeah, she's the vampire, and I was like, either this is gonna be how she became a vampire, or it's just gonna be they're all vampires.
Hmm. Hmm. And we find out the family gets restless, and Denise asks when they can eat him because she's starving. Sasha gets visibly nervous, and her family cheers her on, saying that he'll be delicious and that they're all there to support her. But she begins to hyperventilate, and we hear Rico screaming in pain as he's killed by them off screen.
He's like, "Hey, let me out of here. Let me out of here. I can't do it. I messed up. I'm claustrophobic.
It's like Rico's claustrophobic.
Yeah." That shit cracked me up. He's screaming for their help, and then they open it, and he's just like, "Oh, thank God. What are you doing? What are you doing?"
So funny, dude. So we cut to a doctor checking her teeth. while her parents stand over him and ask why her fangs didn't appear like they're supposed to. He's confused because she apparently has the roots capable of producing them, so he believes it could be a nervous system issue. They sit her in a room and have her watch scenes from Night of the Living Dead. Public domain, baby.
It's is that really in the public
Oh yeah.
domain?
Oh yeah. That's why it's everywhere. That's why
I thought it was 75 years after the author's death. Yes. Oh, because
I was gonna say I don't ever think it was uh
he changed the title at some point and made a mistake
so
when
they
yeah, interesting.
That's interesting. That is actually interesting. I did not know that much. I just knew it was public domain. That's why it's in like every one of the movies that you see recently.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I had no idea. I was like, how's that timeline
Hmm.
work out?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So they strap her down. They have her watch scenes from the movie to see her reactions. She's terrified and screams for her father to have them turn it off, which he does as soon as he rushes in. The doctor tells him that this is what's up?
It's just funny that that's like the psych test for vampires is
Yeah,
like
yeah,
is this normal to you?
yeah. Exactly. That's literally what he's about to say. It's so funny. Like, yeah, they because they wired all this stuff. So like they wired like how you would almost like a sleep test, like
Hmm.
how they would like wire up the parts of your brain and like have you sleep in the room.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's so funny how they did that and like just had her watch fucking horror movies.
It's an interesting world they live in.
Yeah, yeah, it's so funny.
Between this and the vampire being like, no, her fangs are like up in there.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like, yeah, she's got the roots. Like, she's good. Super, super fun. So the doctor tells him that this case is highly unusual because the part of her brain that should trigger her hunger when shown violent images isn't doing so. Instead, it's the part of her brain associated with compassion that's being activated. So instead, they see a psychologist who determines that she's suffering from post traumatic stress disorder. Aurelien tells Georgette that he knew that she would get attached to Rico because she empathizes with rocks.
Yeah.
That was so
Yeah.
funny. Oh man, it's so sad too. She is like she is just this like innocent looking thing and she's just so like engulfed in her world like of in the back in the well, about to say that what she's doing right now. But like she's always like to herself and kind of doing things. So the
Yeah.
therapist
She's just a little introverted hippie.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the therapist asks if she's been having any obsessive thoughts lately, and the camera cuts to her sitting in front of her light bright sketch of Rico the Clown.
Mm. Oh yeah, with a little frowny face.
Yeah, so funny, dude. Oh man. So she recommends keeping Sasha there for a few days so they can continue testing her for further answers. And Aurelien storms out with his daughter. Georgette tries to convince him to keep her there, but he refuses to force this on her and says that everyone just has their own pace. She argues that it's their job to raise an independent child, but this will only keep her from learning how to hunt on her own. But he stands his ground and they leave. Which is that was like, this is very interesting how it mirrors like real ass issues with people and like parents. Like, this feels like a real conversation, you know?
Hmm.
As like fantastical as it is, you can just swap out the subject matter for anything else.
Yeah, this is just the classic daughter not wanting to go into the family business kind of thing.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, it's very, very interesting. I really do. And then like even that though, like how it's like a learning disorder or something like that. Like you could even
Hmm.
put that in there. You know what I mean? Like there's all kinds
Hmm.
of little layers
Or
in there.
eating disorder, really.
Eating disorder, yeah, exactly, really, exactly. Like it's very interesting how the conversation can be swapped out for other things, but they just used vampires as the medium for this story. It's very fun.
Hmm.
So and I also I think because I didn't put it in the notes, but like I really, really, really liked the father's relationship with his daughter. It's extremely sweet and like continuously is the sweetest part about this movie. It's very, very loving and you could tell he loves his daughter with everything he is.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
very, very cute little like chemistry they have on screen together. So we see Sasha in the back seat of the car, sucking on a blood bag like a Capri Sun, when Georgette comes in from the rain and says that she's not going to be hunting for the entire family for the next 200 years. Aurelienne replies with, "What? I hunt too. I just went on Monday." She sarcastically tells him congrats and they drive off.
Yeah, that's such a weird part because he seems like so doting, but then it seems like the implication is like he's vampire unemployed.
Yeah. Yeah,
You,
he's the
you know what I
stay-at-home
mean?
vampire,
Yeah,
yeah. She's literally bringing the meat home.
like a lioness.
Exactly. You were so proud with yourself.
Well, there's a lot of
That
pride
was, God
associated
damn
with
it.
lions.
That's fucking funny. So we get a wonderful, simple little credit sequence set to a genuinely beautiful piano piece being played. God damn, I wrote a tongue twister by Sasha on a snowy city sidewalk as onlookers pass and chit chat.
Yeah, probably like Mozart or Beethoven or something, like very recognizable. She has a finger double for sure on this one. That's not a normal amount of piano skill. That's fucking insane.
It is, dude. That's what I'm saying. The music is really fucking good in this too. So one person throws in a sealed swirly pastry, and she looks confused. She makes her way back home, and we get a look at her very creatively decorated room. Shout out to the set decorators, man. This one was fucking awesome. I loved her like room, the posters, the little chair that she has. Like, it's all really really cool and like uniquely decorated. She opens the pastry and studies it, smelling it and feeling it as if it's some sort of forbidden substance. She opens the fridge and tells her dad, "We're out of bags," while grabbing the last one hanging on a shelf. He says, "Your mom will be out soon."
Yeah, the blood fridge, which
Yeah.
is fun. It's like a regular fridge, but then the inside is like a blood bank
It's like, yeah,
fridge.
yeah, they're all like hanging off of like hooks. So he's doing some sort of paperwork like a father is known to do. I don't know what he's just again vampire taxes. I don't know what he
Yeah,
is
that's
doing.
there's sort of like a big element of like just don't think about it too much of
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
so how do they have a house and have their lights on and
Mm-hmm.
clothes and other things, you know?
It's very fun. It's very silly, very silly.
I guess they drain your bank account when they kill you too.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know? Quick, suck his neck, take his debit card
Damn it.
before I kill you. What is your pin? It's okay. I'll just use your face ID.
Stupid face recognition.
Zell will leave a paper trail.
So dumb. So,
You
yeah.
will pay for items on my Amazon wish list. You will obey this, my counsel.
God damn it. That was fucking great.
He told those checks to bounce on it crazy style.
You mother. Okay, that's 3 for 3.
I'll let you
Fucking
continue.
hell. God damn it. So we cut to Sasha drinking her baggie and reading a book titled Man, the Thinking Animal while her mother watches TV. It's very apparent that her slurping is annoying her, and we cut to Sasha laying in bed, listening to her parents fight about her friend fending for herself. Sorry.
Hmm.
Aureliane is still adamant about never forcing her to kill against her will. The pastry sits on top of her record player, spinning as we fade into the next scene. Very, very cool little transition. Very fun. Sasha is wrapping up for the night putting her keyboard away as she notices a man standing on top of the building across the street, clearly contemplating stepping off. He will come to be known as Paul. As the tensions rise, the music intensifies and the camera pushes in on their faces, but all the drama is deflated when his coworker Henry comes out and tells him, "Jump or come down and help me with the brats." he says he says he's coming and steps down.
You know
It's so
what?
sad.
It being Canadian, because we were both just talking about it right before we started,
Mm-hmm.
it also makes sense how much English is in the movie. Because there's lots of just random English.
Yeah. Like
Um,
little phrases that JP is gonna say later on too. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
which I don't think the French would do. I think they're a little too prideful for that. The Canadians have to deal with us.
Yeah, yeah. That's so funny. Have to. You don't mean get to.
No, I don't. I certainly don't.
So while he's helping a customer, a young girl walks over to the counter and demands a new pair of shoes because the pair he gave her stinks. He tries standing up to her by telling her to wait, but Henry steps in and tells him to help her. She tells him, "Thank you, Mr. Big Cheese," and Henry smirks, thus
Yeah,
beginning the very stupid runner for this movie.
yeah.
It's a very dumb. I was like, what? It's a very silly and dumb runner, but yeah.
Yeah, it really is. And also the guy tells him to like she can just go ahead of me, it's fine. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's nice you feel that way, but I'm behind you in line and I got shit to do, so fuck that. I got no
That's the
time for it.
stance you took.
That's the stance I took. Hey, random story time.
There we
Amanda and
go.
I were in Target earlier, and
Oh
I'm
man.
pushing the cart. I'm in an aisle. I'm standing there waiting for other people to like move around and stuff. And this old ass white dude, like probably mid 60s, maybe even like 70, he's coming up on his walker, and he goes, uh, you better keep it moving, or like keep. He just told me keep it moving. He was like, keep it moving, you're in the
Yeah.
way. And I
Foot brake.
straight turned and I went, no, what you say to people is excuse me. You don't talk to people like that. You say excuse me. And he just stood there like shocked. And then after a minute he went, excuse me. And I said, yeah, that's right. You better show some respect next time, you fucking dickhead. And I walked away. Then I turned around too and I said, and I know you would not have spoken that way to a white person.
You
I know for sure.
get me all hot and bothered, bro. You can't be doing this.
Yeah. So yeah, I got no time for people's bullshit.
That's fair.
Motherfucker.
That was good.
Keep it moving.
Yeah.
Cause I'm standing in front of what he
The
wants.
goal, bro.
Keep it moving. I was like, bro, if you were 20 years or younger, like
I just gotta look in your direction, break your fucking spine.
like bro, if we weren't in the aisle, hit
Exactly.
me with that one by the bus stop, see what happens.
Oh
He
man,
lived through the Civil War. He should know better. He was there when they called that one.
that's so good.
As were some of these vampires, to bring it back
Oh
to the
my
movie.
god, thank you. That was so good. That was an expert level comeback too. Jesus
Thank,
Christ.
thank you. Somehow I found a way to both tell you about it before I forgot and to tie it into everything.
Oh my god. So when Paul goes to leave at the end of the night, he grabs his jacket out of the locker and looks down to see his other pair of shoes filled with nacho cheese. Henry
Mm.
laughs and tells him he'll see him tomorrow. And that's the runner for this joke. I don't understand why this is like so funny to everybody after. But I feel okay, also at the same time, that's what wraps this up into being like a YA movie. You know what I mean? Like it's very much like in line with something like a goofy little like bully subplot in a
Yeah.
young adult movie, like
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. It's you know what I mean? It's like it doesn't
Nacho
detract me.
Man.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's all. I'm like, fine, okay, whatever. It's dumb. It's fun. Whatever. But it was just like, why is that? And then like everybody gets in on it later. It's weird. But anyway, later on, Paul arrives at a shipping yard and prepares to go up a ladder before being taunted by Sasha. She whistles and draws his attention, and when she finally reveals herself, he panics and runs straight into a shipping container. The cut on his head causes her fangs to finally show. Startled by this, she runs back home and grabs a baggie out of the fridge, sucking for dear life.
Yeah.
After, yeah, that shit was
Squeeze,
so funny.
squeezing that thing like me at second grade lunch with a bag of chocolate milk. Did you get those too?
Yeah, dude, the fucking bags. Yeah, the
Isn't it?
bags of chocolate milk taste better than the ones at the carton. I don't know
Mm.
why, just fucking did.
It always felt like there was a danger that you would like put the straw all the way through
All
the
the way
whole
through.
thing, but it
Yeah,
never happened.
yeah.
Never
Dude,
happened.
that's so fucking funny. That's such a good way of describing that
Hey,
feeling.
give me a bag of chocolate milk and a bag of chortles.
Jordan.
You
That's
remember
so good.
those?
No.
Oh man, they're like it's like just
Uh,
enough cookie dough to cover a chocolate chip, and then they're baked. So
I
it's
thought a
just
chortle is what I do on this
that's
show.
that is yes. But the I haven't seen these things since like the fourth grade. But
That's so funny.
it's crunchy and it's got like one chocolate chip in the middle. That's pretty great. You
That's
just get a
yeah,
bag of them.
okay. Yeah, that sounds pretty tank actually. Getting back to what we were talking about here. After she's finished, she notices how prominent her fangs now are. And at this moment, her parents decide to have an impromptu intervention with her about the pastry they found in her room. It's literally
Yeah,
like the Dare fucking program.
it's like that
Like
episode of Seventh Heaven. Where did this joint come from?
Oh yeah, that's
Ah,
right. That's right. I
ah.
forgot all about that.
Nobody look on the father's hard drive. We need to
Yeah,
look into this
exactly.
joint.
Jesus Christ, I know. Oh my God.
There's this dude that I follow on TikTok strictly because he just does reviews of Seventh Heaven episodes and just pointing out how like absolutely fucking absurd and ridiculous this show is, which my sister used to love, by the way. So like occasionally I would watch,
Yeah, yeah,
for those of us with siblings back in those days,
yeah. You
you'd
didn't
have
get a
to take
choice.
turns. Yeah, you'd have to
Yeah.
you she
Yep.
watches a show, then you watch a show, but there's
Yep.
nothing to fucking do at that point in
Exactly.
reality. You just sit there and watch her show. Um, but all he does is reviews of the episodes, talking about how ridiculous they are, and
Mhm.
every single fucking like possible chance mentions that the actor that plays the father is a pedophile, which is true, which is true.
It is. That's what makes that joke so funny.
Just like every single instance of just like, yeah, I probably don't want him hanging out around Lucy's friends anyway.
Yeah. Yep.
Just
Yep.
like,
Exactly.
ugh,
Yeah,
Jesus.
it's fucked up. Oh man. So her father asks if she's been having dark thoughts, and they stress that food is dangerous to vampires.
Yeah, it can kill you.
Hmm. When they ask if she plan on eating it, she denies it, which finally reveals her fangs to them. They're pleasantly surprised, but she tells them that she doesn't want them and asks to be locked away forever. Which is so funny. It is. It is literally, where did this joint come from?
Yeah.
It's just like, I literally am holding it for someone.
She is like mentally 15.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which is, it's so funny when you finally find out her age. So we cut to Sasha being called downstairs for another family meeting, and they tell her that they've decided she's going to live with Denise because this environment isn't conducive to learning. Denise promises not to give her so much as a drop of blood, so she'll have to fend for herself. She disagrees with this and tells them that if they do this, she'll die of starvation. But Victorine says that she has her fangs and can now hunt for herself. We see Sasha in her new space having a baggie and looking around. There
Hanging
are
out with a cool baggie,
exactly as you do.
as one does.
There are hooks dangling from chains on the ceiling, as well as a lock on the fridge. There are fabrics and various lamps hanging all over the place. Again, shout out to the decorators, man. They did a fucking really good job with this place. There is a large what happened?
No, you're right. The hooks hanging and everything.
Mhm.
It's just like a weird rundown warehouse, and even how she like drives in through the front
Oh
with her
yeah,
van
yeah,
and
yeah. It
everything.
still feels like an interesting loft situation though, like an art loft. You know what I mean?
It
Like,
is, but it's like in a warehouse.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But it is. That's what I'm saying. Is shout out to the set decorators to make the place interesting. You know what I mean? Like in a warehouse. You know.
Hmm.
So there's a large painting in the center of the room. When Sasha begins to study it, Denise arrives back at home with a pair of hitchhikers. She walks over to Sasha and says, "Pick your favorite. I'll hang him up and show you how to bleed him." But
Hmm.
she says that she isn't hungry. She's very excited too. She's like, "Go ahead, pick your favorite." Denise notices the baggie behind her back and gives her a piercing stare before attending to the two men and asking, "Do you like being tied up?"
Yeah, and they're like,
So good.
I guess.
Yeah. She's like,
Do
"You
you or
do."
do you not? You fucking know that about yourself by now, or you better.
Exactly. so, so as Sasha is in her room, she finds a small chest with a few blood bags inside and a note from her father saying that these were to help with her first week there. She lays down for a nap while the two men are murdered off screen by Denise. It's so funny. She's like, one of them asks, "What's the safe word?" She's like, "We don't need a safe word." He's like,
Yeah,
"What the
we don't
fuck?"
need that. We don't need those here.
It's like, "What the fuck?" Then you just start hearing him scream. It's so fun. It's so well done. That's what I'm saying. I really like Denise's performance. She's so funny. She's very like stiff and collected. Like she's very much like, I need to do this. I have to do that. Like she's very like targeted. You know,
Hmm.
very very focused in her endeavors. So
They're all very systematic. Like there's this implication that, there's this entire vampire society
mhm,
underpinning human society, and
mhm,
that they're all, each of these families is killing a handful of people every week.
every week. Yep.
So it's just this sort of like when you really extrapolate, it starts to get a little ridiculous because it's like, okay, so hundreds, if not thousands, of people are going missing every year specifically because of vampires. And then you got to think about human crime on top of that,
hmm
So it just becomes like kind of absurd that people wouldn't be like a little more upset about all
Yeah,
that,
yeah. The presence of missing people. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but they, like she's got the hooks and everything. There's all these accoutrements to
hmm
suggest that she's just like fully butchering these people,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you
This
know?
is her like lair.
Yeah.
It's literally
And
the
we
beast
see
lair.
over and over again. I mean, honestly, it's not like it would be hard, but like all she does is go up to guys and go, "Dick suck?" And they're like,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
And he's,
Literally. That's
sure.
literally.
Whoa, this is crazy. You got hooks hanging up in your house. So when am I
Yeah.
gonna get that dick suck, Adrian? Like,
I swear,
I'm
that's so
Throbby
funny.
Balboa.
God damn it. You motherfucker. You had that locked and loaded.
Yeah, I thought about it about the time I started doing his voice, which is unfortunate. I gotta be clear that I'm doing Sylvester Stallone's voice. I'm
as
I'm
as made famous by Rocky.
I'm not making fun of any group of people.
God damn it, John.
I'm not even trying to be stupid. I'm
That
be
was just so fucking funny. You caught me so off guard.
And it's funny I bring him up because Rocky is the poster child for not consent. He's just like, hey,
Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
stalk
Yeah.
her until she loves me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's yay, fair. And you found a way to bring it back again, you son of a bitch.
The best in the biz.
So the camera, well, the camera is still focused on Sasha, or it's still fixed on Sasha. This is a very great shot. I like the way that they edit this movie as well.
Hmm.
Camera is still fixed on Sasha. We get a great cut to a few hours later on. The lights are off, and we see the ice chest that was left open next to her is now empty. We hear her tummy start to rumble, and she goes to confront Denise. But half asleep, she just tells her to shut up, and then the baggies are all gone. Sasha examines the gore left over from the murders and sees a piece of cloth and a hook that's still dripping with blood. She reaches out to it, but stops herself before she can touch it. So we have this like want or desire that like innately she wants to feed, you know?
Yeah, it seemed like she just like she was gonna just like start licking the hook, and she
Mm-hmm.
just
Mm-hmm.
kind of was like, "Well, that's pathetic." Like she just didn't want Denise to find her doing that, and
Yeah,
then
I don't. Yeah,
like,
it's a weird back and forth with her because internally you always see this struggle that's going on with her, like to fight the baser instincts that are in her to hunt and kill and murder people. Because again, she is empathetic. Like the whole reading the book called "Man, the Thinking Animal" is so funny. Like it just tells you so much about her character already. Like just that little like shot alone, you know,
hmm.
very funny. So we get a quick scene of Paul on a school bus being teased by Henry and his friends before he turns his attention to another student who is excited over an ad she was featured in. He belittles her intelligence and she tells him he ain't got no future and he ain't got no dick.
Yeah,
and then
I I enjoyed that.
and then also like that's some weird like American Apparel ass thing when
Yeah,
you think about
look,
like how old she is in high
yeah,
school and like
exactly.
putting her up. I'm like, that's strange.
It's weird, but it happens here too. Ads that are
That's what
just
I
like,
just said American Apparel. That's exactly
yeah,
what. Yeah.
ads that are just like, look how hot these teens are. Like,
Yeah. 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 It's very. Ugh. Yeah.
it's 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 weird because it's like I understand we have to make uh content for people of all ages,
Hmm.
but even though that's like a, like a the sexual awakening time of your life, like we don't need to have like hot 15-year-olds for 15-year-olds to look at. They go to school, they see hot 15-year-olds every
Exactly.
day.
Exactly.
There's people they're
It's very.
pining over. They're
Yeah. Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. 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 It's just so fucking strange. But like that was just something I didn't catch on to because again, kind of the whimsy of the movie like just has you kind of lost in it. You just kind of you're like, all right, you're like, yeah, yeah, that's just happening. But she just happened to be in an ad, in a jeans ad, for some reason. It's plastered all over this fucking store.
Yeah, it's really strange that she's like a child, but also like an icon. It's
Yeah.
there's a lot of weird things going on that like required a little more discussion to
Mm-hmm.
fully understand. But
Yeah,
yeah, there's just
exactly.
this. She's just like, yeah, I pose in my low-rise jeans.
Yeah.
Nothing weird about that.
So also, I needed some clarity on this because I don't know if I missed it because I was like taking notes or whatever. But is she the one that runs in behind him with late to class?
Yes.
She is the one. Okay, 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 okay. I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
okay.
It took me a second. Gym class, yes.
Yes, 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 yes. So we see
Where the
Paul.
heroes are.
Yeah, that was good. So we see
Thanks.
Paul running late into gym class, which infuriates the teacher, and he forces him and the student from earlier. I didn't get her name. Who was also late to play tennis in slippers that he apparently knitted himself.
Yeah, that was a strange
It's a weird little.
it was a strange detail that literally was put in so that later when you see
There's a
him wearing
gag.
them,
Yeah.
it makes sense why
Mm-hmm.
he's doing that. I want to say her name was like Madison or something. I'm
Think
trying to
so.
look at
Yeah.
the cast list. Melise.
Melise, got you.
Melise Bessette.
There you go. So Melise, I'm gonna put that in for my notes for later. You said Melise, got you.
Like Melissa, but with an E.
There you go. So yeah. See he makes them play tennis in slippers that he knitted himself and just like sliding all around and shit. He said so just as they're about to start the match, A bat flies into the gym and everyone begins to panic. But when it flies towards Paul, he simply swings his racket and knocks it to the ground. He walks over and uses the handle of the racket to put it out of its misery, and everyone gasps.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that it's treated the way that it is
I thought
fo
so too.
following that. I didn't expect that to be.
That yeah, that was my reaction as well. So Paul and his mother Sandrine are sitting in the principal's office. She tells him that that he needs to apologize, but he says, "I can't. It's dead." That was my favorite fucking line of the entire movie.
Mhm, yeah. When you want to die, there's not a lot keeping you from being a
uh,
real asshole to everybody.
yeah, that was so fucking expertly like executed though. Like it was just such a quick. I was like, oh, that was quick. Oh, that was good. That it like scratched a part of my brain, but I was like, hell yeah. So the principal says that in her 30 years of experience, she's never seen a student murder an innocent animal in front of her classmates.
Which is not
From
what
their
happened.
classmates. That's yeah, it's pretty wild. So Sandrine retorts that he was defending the class from flying vermin and not to waste her time with trivial matters like this in the future. As they're about to leave, the principal says, "What if he attacks a student next time? When a child starts hurting animals, who can tell where it'll end?" Sandrine furiously responds, "My son is not a murderer." And Paul adds, "Yeah, I wouldn't kill anyone other than myself," before leaving the room.
Hey, I get it. I feel the same.
Just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, the
His
look.
mom's reaction was so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, she just like kind of looks back and forth and does, and then the the principal is like, "Told you."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a very snarky look on her face too. Yeah, but it's just like a lot. The poor mom, dude. She's got so much to process. It's so fucking quick. So, in the car, Sandrine tells him that he needs to give group therapy another chance. When she goes to embrace him, he pulls away and agrees to give the sessions a shot. As they're putting their seatbelts on, Paul subtly opens up his bag to reveal the bat's body sitting on top of his gym clothes.
I thought so. We watched this movie earlier, but sometimes depending where your TV is, I don't think you
Yeah,
have to deal with this where you are, like the
kind of.
where your Windows face is pretty convenient for this, I'm realizing.
I have
But
to close the blinds, but I do sometimes get the glare.
yeah, we just have big ass windows
Mm,
and it's like a brand new apartment
yeah,
and we're not buying it, so I'm not installing shit,
installing too much of it.
lick my
Yeah.
ass. Uh why should I pay? But yeah, it during certain times of the day it's kind of difficult to see stuff. So I
Yeah.
couldn't quite see it in there, but I figured that the bat was in there.
Yeah. He took the little body, which is and again, it's interesting because you learn so much about the characters without them really saying shit. Like there's so much show don't tell in this movie. It's so much, and it's like little
That's true.
subtle things that are going on. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like you really do get an idea for his character before he even starts talking about himself and like what he's feeling, and you already like understand his character in a way before like he even gets to that point in the movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good characterization and subtle things between both of them.
Hmm.
And again, that's why it reminds me a lot. It's a reverse let the right one in. It's
Yes,
like it's
absolutely.
well, cuz let the
Well,
right
because
one
she
in.
was the vampire in that one, but I get what you're saying though.
Well, cuz I mean because ultimately in Let the Right One In, and I mean kind of spoilers here, but if you're watching this movie, I hope to God you've seen Let the Right One In.
Yeah, yeah.
But in that movie, ultimately, even though like it's kind of good for Oscar and things like that, we've seen what happens to Oscar in the
Mm-hmm.
movie.
Mm-hmm.
So we know what awaits him as
Mm-hmm.
time goes on.
Yeah.
And I feel like the sweetness of that movie only makes the darkness even darker,
Darker. Yeah, for sure.
this is like that, but instead of Oscar being like the helpless one, the vampire is the helpless one.
Yeah, exactly. And like they're kind of helping each other kind of see the other side of the grass. You know what I mean? On
Y-
in each set, like in each scene, they're kind of both peeling back layers for each other and kind of like
Mm-hmm.
letting their guard down with each other. But it's also like helping them see that, oh yeah, this is how the other side lives.
Yeah.
You know, which is, I mean, weird way to put it, but yeah, but it's very true.
Mm-hmm.
So we cut to Denise attempting to show Sasha how to hunt. They're standing outside of a bar waiting for someone to leave. And this is where we meet their dinner, named JP.
Mm-hmm.
Denise approaches him and asks him if he wants to have some fun before bed. We then see all three of them in her van headed to his parents' house as he attempts to rizz them up with proposals of cigars, whiskey, and a hot tub.
Risen hard.
And
You know when you're telling them, "Hey, did I tell you that I have the thing?" And they're
the,
like, "Yeah, you did." First thing you told. That's when you
the first
know.
thing.
That's when you know you're about to hit that Playboy.
That's so good. So that's just so funny. So they arrive at the house and he tells them that they have to be quiet. He steps out of the van. Denise tells Sasha to go for the jugular and keep going until he stops moving because they don't want him around for another 300 years. But Sasha firmly refuses. So Denise gets out of the car and bites him, but Sasha panics and slams on the horn, alerting the whole neighborhood. She gets out of the car and makes a run on foot, leaving Denise behind. She passes a diner and sees people enjoying food. Desperate to not commit murder and for sustenance, she sits at a bus stop with what I imagine, now I'm putting this is my notes, I'm reading word for word, but it is poutine. She sits at a bus stop with
Oh,
an order
yeah,
of
that yeah.
poutine.
Yeah, that probably is what that was.
Yeah, I
I just
couldn't get it at first. I was like, "What is?" Oh, it's just poutine. I was like, "Yeah, yeah, it's absolutely poutine."
as like a limited diet person, I was just like, yeah, some shit I wouldn't eat, whatever.
Fair.
I just was like, okay,
Yeah.
whatever. She's eating it, mommy.
Yeah, yeah. So
Couldn't
stupid.
be me.
Exactly.
Could not be me.
She's just as she's about to take a big old bite, an ad for a suicide hotline next to her begins to flicker, and she puts the fork down. It's so funny the way that this is handled.
How to save a life when I get
Yeah.
lost along the way, and I don't buy anymore, and we'll probably owe them money.
Exactly. So good. But yeah,
Anyway,
it's so funny how it's just handled. Like with him, it's actual suicide. With her, it's like suicide by food. And like that they keep
um,
like
so
edging up against, you know what I mean?
I think I'm actually uh obligated to say suicide. It's a suicide, but a bop bop, and you can take that from there.
You can say that. I'm gonna go ahead and let that be. I'm gonna leave you with that. This prompts a visit to a meeting for a depression and suicide anonymous group. She sits down and is surprised when she sees Paul enter the room. He notices her and takes a seat. When it's her turn to speak, she vaguely talks about being forced into a difficult position to do bad things, but says that she also understands that it could ultimately be for the best if she just went along with it. The coordinator tells her that they're all there to support each other and remind everyone that death is never the answer. Paul speaks up in disagreement and says, while looking directly at Sasha, that death can be an interesting solution. He says, for example, I don't enjoy life and I'd gladly give mine up for a good cause. And it's kind of like their meet cute moment.
Hmm. He's the meat, she's
He's
cute.
like, fuck yeah, that's the clip. That's the clip right there.
That would also be a good name for a like Fatal Attraction kind of style movie, like Meet Cute with an A,
With an
you know,
A,
and
yeah,
then
that's
and then
amazing.
and then that would be the tagline. He's the meat,
He's the meat,
she's
she's the
cute.
cute. so good.
Someone fucking hire me for a creative role. Jesus Christ.
And my personal email is so after the meeting, Sasha asks him if he meant what he said. When he says yes, she brings him back to Denise's place, where we see Denise working on a painting while JP sits on the couch playing video games. He makes a comment about enjoying ceviche on the beach, and she says, I hope you got your fill because you'll never taste it again.
Hmm. They were really going at the food thing for so long that I was just waiting for for one of them to eat food and be like, "Oh, it's fine."
Oh yeah. Like that would be the pin to that fucking that capping to that bit. Yeah.
Hmm.
It would have been funny, but they don't go there. It is very firmly this is dangerous for vampires. So Sasha walks in, and Paul and Denise. Sasha walks in with Paul, and Denise is surprised. JP introduces himself and says, "Mi casa es su casa, bro." And Denise says, "This isn't your casa. What did we say about speaking Spanish?
Yeah,
Make yourself at home, Paul."
which is so weird. She wouldn't say that to a white person.
Exactly. I love that that came back around.
Yep, that's what we in the biz call a callback.
You're fucking on it today.
Which is weird because I'm so
Uh,
tired.
I love it, man. That's the secret. That's the secret sauce.
Yeah,
So,
you got to hit that point where you start to dream while you're still awake. That's the sweet spot, baby.
exactly.
When the trees start talking to you, oh, that's
They
when it
sing.
flows. It's when I become fucking Silver Surfer
Oh
with
my god.
my eyes
So,
glossed over,
so
the power
stupid.
cosmic flowing through me.
The two make their way to Sasha's room, and things are awkward. He takes a look around and plays a note on the piano before asking if she's been playing for a long time. She responds with 43 years. He asks how old she is, and she tells him 68. He continues asking more specific vampire related questions about what happens if they go into the sunlight. She says they shrivel up, and if crosses burn them, she says it's more like an allergy.
It's and this is where the grooming comes in.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of weird that a 68-year-old woman is like following this high schooler around.
I love that.
Oh, you love it.
That's
Oh,
shut the
chat,
fuck up.
clip that. Chat, play that at his arraignment.
That's an array. That's so good. So stupid. So he notices her record collection and opens up about his own affinity for collecting rocks. He's asked her, or geodes, I think is what he uses. He asks her which one she would choose if she were on her deathbed. She takes one out and tosses it on. The two share a very cute scene together, dancing and vibing to Emotions by Brenda Lee. The lighting changes to a red in a very subtle and warm way, which signifies the two finally letting their guard down with each other. I love the way that the lighting changes in all of the scenes. Like I love that so much. It was so fucking well done. Very very cool. I don't know if you caught that in the when they're dancing.
What part when they're dancing?
When they're well like when she starts like I think it's when the vocals come in for the song,
Hmm.
the lights in the background like all dim and then it comes up into red lighting.
Oh, I didn't even like I kind of did, but I didn't realize that it
I
just
guess it was
like
kind of
happened
hard
in
to
the
see
moment.
because the glare, I guess, you know. Yeah, it does. I will say it is a low lit film. Like it is a very dimly lit film. Like it that's what makes it kind of like a nighttime like a best watch for nighttime, you know. But yeah, I really liked the little subtle lighting in the background. That was very fun.
Yeah, this scene is really interesting because she really like comes out of her shell and she's like dancing and singing along to the
Hmm.
song, and it's funny too because I don't think I've ever gone to someone's house and just stood up and stared at a record player the entire time a song played.
Literally. Well, he gets into it. He starts dancing too.
Yeah, no, he does, but I just mean like it's just kind of funny.
It is funny, yeah. So
when you're that age, you'll do anything for a girl with bad bangs.
exactly here for the goth baddie.
I've been there, brother. We've all made bad decisions.
For a real bad one.
That's why
So
they call them baddies.
those are the types of decisions you're making.
Yeah.
When- God damn it! Why can I try to keep going? When it finally comes time to, God damn. Okay, when it finally comes time to do the deed, Paul sits still and tilts his head for her to reach his neck, but she still doesn't seem to have the stomach for murder, and runs outside to catch her breath. She tries biting her own arm to satisfy the craving, but she doesn't bleed. Denise comes out and tells her that she better finish the job because she isn't running a youth hostel. When she goes back into the room, she asks Paul if he wants anything. Confused, he asks what she means, and she tells him she'd be more comfortable if she could fulfill a dying wish for him instead of just killing him.
Hmm.
The only thing he can think of is finally standing up to Henry. So the two head out to the bowling alley. I love I love how just shocked he is. The poor dude has just never been asked that before. Like, do you want anything? He's just like, oh, uh she's like, well, people usually have a like dying wish, and he's like,
He's like, to
oh,
die.
okay.
I
Yeah,
just want to
yeah,
die.
yeah, exactly. So while Paul searches everywhere for Henry, Sasha slowly makes her way through the place, again studying the people. Paul gets guilted into helping another coworker who is doing the jobs of two people since Henry apparently called off in order to go to some party. It's so funny. She's like, "Help me reorganize the shoes." He's like, "I'm off." She's like, "I
Yeah.
don't care." She's like, "Help me." He's like, "I'm with somebody."
It's that bitch madeness of being 16 and
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely. They asked me that at work. Absolutely not. Let me clock in first. Hold
Yeah,
up.
fucko.
Exactly. So we see Sasha slowly push a beer off the glass table like a cat, and then duck for cover when the glass shatters and alerts everyone. Paul tells her that Henry is gone, and she tells him that they're going to the party. On their way there, he stops and tells her that he doesn't want to face Henry in front of everyone and potentially embarrass himself. So Sasha recommends telling off someone else first to practice and boost his confidence.
Hmm.
So we get a montage of the two committing minor offenses on top of property damage towards everyone who wronged him at the school. And this is including the Melise. You said her name?
Yeah.
Including Melise, who was featured on the ad in the who was featured on the ad. He
Hmm.
steals it and leaves it on her front lawn. His gym teacher, who's wearing a pair of the knitted slippers. He sprays a hose into his car and then at him directly. And his principal, who he flings the dead bat towards and kicks over a garden decoration.
Hmm.
It's very funny, like how just like he's getting this huge bolster of like confidence just on top of just these little like no fuck you.
Hmm.
It's so funny.
He's so bad at it too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's so bad at like the bluster of it all.
Yeah, it's so funny when they leave the ad on the lawn. She runs over it and like stomps on it before she walks off. It's so funny. So while they're running away, Sasha is too weak to continue, so they rest in the middle of the street. And she asks him how long he's been suicidal. He claims forever, that he was even born with the umbilical cord wrapped around his neck. She says she thought humans feared death, but he says that mostly they're just afraid of suffering or ending up alone. And then he asks if they can make one last stop, and they end up at his house. We see framed pictures of him and his mother all over the place. He tells her that he'll be right back, and he heads upstairs. When Sasha goes up after him, she sees him writing a letter at his desk and notices his rock collection in his room. He leaves the note on his bed and they get ready to leave. But just as Paul gets downstairs, Sandrine walks through the door. He tells her that he's going to a party, and she notices Sasha's Nosferatu looking ass at the top of the stairs,
Hmm.
looming over them.
I am going to statutorily
You can't.
rape your
You didn't so you can
dad.
roll the R.
I did.
Fucking terrible.
He
Sorry.
will be back by bedtime
I will
because
bounce on it.
he is a child, so he still has one.
God damn it. Fuck,
She's
I
wrong
just.
for that.
He's wrong. Absolutely. So Paul introduces her to Sandrine, and Sasha awkwardly acknowledges her and walks past. It's a very how do. She just
Yeah.
walks past her.
Yeah, how about them Mets? Just
Yeah,
keep going.
exactly. Just keeps trucking.
Yep.
This was really I thought this was a really sweet. Again, Paul and Sandrine have such a fucking great little relationship with each other. It's so cute. Like they genuine like the parental love from the one-sidedness of like both of their parents is very very good. I love the way that they portray it. It's so cute.
That's true.
Hmm.
I didn't think
So
about that.
yeah, so Paul says his last goodbye to his mom and they leave for the party. But it's very, very warm and sweet, and it's just like you see him hug her tighter at the end, and it's just like, oh man, that breaks your fucking heart, man. That really drives the fucking knife in there, man.
Yeah, he because he knows he's giving her the big goodbye.
Yeah, yeah, it's really sad. So when the two arrive, they find Henry, and Paul prepares to confront him. He walks over to him, and Henry immediately starts antagonizing and teasing him, asking, "What do you call cheese that isn't yours?" He then gets his friends to join in a group chant of nacho cheese and wraps his
Hmm.
arm around him. Paul eventually gets fed up and enough to bite Henry's hand, which causes him to let go. And the two run away from the house, but they don't make it very far since Sasha hasn't had any blood in so long. She collapses, and Paul helps her by cutting his hand open and letting her drink from the wound.
Yeah, which I'm legally obligated to say is probably not a reference, but the exact same thing happens in part two of JoJo.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, legally.
The exact same thing happens. There's a vampire
uh,
who seemed evil before, but then he grows to have respect for him, and that's what he does is he cuts his hand and then he squeezes his fist and the
mhm.
blood like trickles down
Yeah,
into his mouth and like gives him a few more moments of life.
that's so good.
It's literally the exact same thing.
That's so good. So I love it. Keep please always bring up
I
JoJo on this
have
show.
to. I have
Please
to
do
do it
it
legally.
legally. So she realizes what's happening and pulls herself away from him. He tells her that she needs to feed and that it's natural for vampires to kill humans. When she says that she can't because her fangs won't show, he says that he's seen them himself and offers to recreate the scenario from when they first met. He says, I can crash into a tree. He's like, ladies, get you a man.
Get you a man who runs face first into
Exactly.
objects for your
Oh,
purposes.
man, it's so good. So he tells her, I want to die. And then she asks, then why are you still here? Which that was a really, really prolific line in the movie. I was like, that was good, dude. That's good
Well,
writing.
I mean, it makes sense. Like vampires wouldn't fear death, so
Mm-hmm.
like it's so much even more of a weird inevitability when like nothing can kill you, but
Mm-hmm.
eventually you will die.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a weird relationship to have with life and death.
It's a weird
Uh,
concept to wrap your head around, even like. you're right, like to even have that, like those two things living inside you, you know,
Hmm.
those ideas kind of like living side by side. Yeah, it's very, very interesting. I just love the way that it was a very, very poignant statement when she made that. I was like, that's really interesting because it's like, yeah, like kind of puts a lot of his things into perspective. It's like, do you want to die or is this just a cry for help?
Yeah, but also it's kind of just like, I dare you.
Kind of. I don't know if I well because no, well going forward when we see the rest of the movie, you'll see it's really not that though. You know,
Oh
like she
yeah, no,
really
no.
is. Yeah, yeah.
But when you are that person, coming from someone who was that person for a long time,
Yeah.
you're looking for things to misinterpret
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
to
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
justify
fair.
the
Yeah,
way
of
you
course.
feel about yourself, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So,
I just think that's a very interesting, vague statement to write, or like the line, the way that it was written was very powerful in the way that it was delivered. You know what I
mhm.
mean? But yeah, I really liked, I like, again, I really appreciated that little bit of dialogue. So Henry and his homies spot the two sitting on a park bench while they're driving by, and they all hop out of the car. One of the goons holds back Sasha as Henry beats Paul on the ground, and this ignites the fire inside that finally makes murder possible. And she tosses the goon back with supernatural strength, which causes the rest of them to flee while Henry continues whooping on Paul. Sasha jumps on his back and finishes him off by biting into his neck. Not wanting anyone to see her eat, she yells at Paul to leave, which I don't know if there was a kid. That's just a little stupid joke.
Yeah, it was like a very weird moment for her to yell
Yeah,
at him
yeah.
like that and
I
then
think
make
it
the,
is really her just kind of finally. She's like, "Shit, this is the first time I've done this. I need to be alone, bro." Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah, it's very, very. Yeah, but it did kind of come out of left field like that. You're just like, "What the fuck you screaming at him, bro?" Like,
Yeah.
the poor dude was just getting whooped on, man. So Denise arrives to help with the disposal, and at first she's excited that she's finally made her first kill, but then confused when she tells him who it is. They then wrap the body in a body bag and toss him in the back of her van. Oh, excuse me, fold him into the back. They like the way it's been
Yeah.
shot is so funny, dude.
The mortise hasn't set in yet.
Yeah, it's crazy. They just like fold him in half and throw him in the back. Oh man. So Denise asks what happened to Paul, but Sasha doesn't want to talk about it. She hands her a wet wipe like she's at a barbecue joint and lets her clean up. Paul arrives back home, bloodied and battered, but fine for the most part. He sees Sandrine asleep on the couch and goes upstairs to shower. When he goes to turn in, he hangs on to the note that he left for her he left for her a while back, reflecting on everything that's happened. Cannot fucking read today. We we cut back to Denise leaning against her van in the forest while Sasha digs a grave. She refuses to help at first, but then reluctantly gets in the hole with her. Before she actually starts digging, she asks her again about Paul and then demands to know what happened. She tells her that she can't just bring home a human and then let him live. She asks where he lives. She says that she's going to go take care of it. So Sasha knocks her out cold with the shovel and then
Hmm.
steals the van. That was crazy, bro. She just takes off
Yeah.
with her shit. I was like, damn.
It's an interesting flip on the Goodfellas scene.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's so true.
I didn't realize it till right now, but
That's
it's
so true with the fucking headlights and everything. Yeah, it's so true. It is just Goodfellas. Yeah. So, oh, yeah, here we go again. On her Nosferatu shit again, she appears in Paul's room as he's sleeping, and the two leave together. As Sasha is driving, she keeps telling Paul to stop smiling. He's clearly flattered by the fact that she's saving his life. When he tells her that it's just the nerves, she says, "My cousin really wants to kill you." And then
hmm.
it's so funny.
And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, I know."
He's like, "No, yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah. You got a crush on me."
Mhm. You like me, don't you,
Yeah,
Squidward?
exactly. Exactly. That's so funny. So they end up at a motel and turn in for the day. While in bed, he asks her what her dying wish would be, and she says to see the sun, which pretty on par for a vampire. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So when she wakes up, she sees Paul sitting at the desk with papers all over the place. She walks over and his eyes are all lit up. He says, I made coffee. Then I realized the vampires don't drink coffee, so I drank it all. Sleep well? She says yes, and he asks her if he did. He says, no, but I explored the 17 possible scenarios when we're given that we don't have passports, don't speak English. I only have $525 in the bank, and I threw a dead bat at my principal's face.
And I'm just over here like I wish coffee worked like that, kid.
Well, when you're that young, it he probably doesn't drink a lot of coffee and then just fucking drink a whole pot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not gonna make you that productive.
Yeah, you're not gonna have that much fire under your ass.
Exactly. So he says, honestly, we have no choice. You have to turn me. He then lays out all the reasons why he wants to become a humanist vampire, seeking consenting suicidal person.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know,
Oh, that's why they call it
that's why they
that.
call it that.
Yep.
So you'd never see the sun. I'm a homebody. You couldn't eat. Eating is a waste of time. You couldn't go to school. He says, I hate it. He
Mm-hmm.
says that he's excited for all the creative ways he can help her and that he's never really wanted anything like this in his life. So she says that she isn't even sure that she can without her fangs. So he says, not to brag, but your fangs appear every time you fear for my life. So just imagine your cousin trying to kill me, and that should work. She he hands over her note. He hands her the note that he intended to give his mom, and asks if she would deliver it if anything goes wrong. In a very evocative scene, she quietly prepares as he lays down on the bed. She hypes herself up enough to make the lights flicker as they've been doing this whole film.
Yeah, which is a weird thing. That's never been a thing with vampires
Vampires kind of.
before. I
I
don't
think it's just
understand.
kind of displaying her internal kind of like like getting hyped up and trying to like rev yourself up. I think that was just kind of like to display what in her head is happening.
Yeah, I don't know. It missed the mark for me.
For sure. So then when she's ready, she lunges at his neck and starts feeding. They struggle for a bit, and then everything eventually calms down. When it doesn't look like it worked, she sits at the desk in tears and reads the plans he was writing out. He suddenly begins gasping for air and passes out again. She calls for her father to help, who of course brings the entire family, and they chastise her for turning him.
Hmm.
So funny.
The way they all show up at the door is very sitcom.
So funny. Yeah, yeah. Very sitcom. Yeah. Ants firmly in the middle, parents on either side. And then you have Denise and JP on the other side. It's
Hmm.
so funny. So Victorine says that they can't adopt new relatives every time she needs a snack. Cut to JP sucking on the bloody towel Sasha used to clean Paul with. It's so
Oh, I
funny.
was I was wondering where that came from. I
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah. She wipes his mouth with a towel and then she sets it down on the table.
oh, okay, so that's what he's sucking on the whole
Yeah,
time.
yeah. He's just like they cut back so he's like, oh. So after some bickering with her, Victorine steps in and begins helping Paul. After being pressured by the family, Denise reluctantly gives up her baggies and they slowly nurse him back to health. Outside, Denise sits on a bench with Sasha and awkwardly offers her comfort. I hope your friend pulls through, but if he does, he can't stay with me.
Yeah.
She puts her arm on
She she
Sasha's leg and
she
then
she,
walks away.
she apologized for hitting her with the
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
and she's like, ah, I would have done worse.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. So funny. Just her little like awkward arm grab, like her leg. She just puts her arm on her leg and she's like, okay. And then just takes off. Oh, it's so good, man. It's so funny. So, in the final scene of the film, we see Sandrine at work filling out Paul and Sasha greet her with flowers in their Columbine best before she briefs them on the patient. You
You're
like
funny for
that
that. Yeah, no, that was good.
one?
That was good.
It's very true. I couldn't say Matrix, although I do later on, but yeah, it's either or. So she asked us to slow her morphine drip. She wants to be awake. She's waiting for you. The two sit by a dying woman's bedside. Her name is Francoise. They ask her if she's ready for her concert, and she nods before asking how her hair looks. Sasha tells her perfect, and Paul hands her a stone that he found in her garden. It's a very like delicate scene. It's not the climax that you expect of a movie like this. It's very interesting.
Mm.
So he begins draining her blood into a baggie while Sasha plays the piano for her as she flatlines. We get a cool guy walk out before the credits roll, and that's Humanist vampire singing consenting suicidal person.
I gotta say, the ending ultimately felt like total nonsense to me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I do like the idea of like that's how we're gonna be vampires. That's how we're gonna make this work. Is we're gonna do this. He said like I'm gonna be an amazing humanist
Yeah.
vampire.
Yeah.
He really thought about it before she wakes up.
Uh,
Um, but ultimately, like they didn't go find a suicidal person. They found a woman who was already dying in the hospital.
like
I,
hospice.
I
Yeah.
just don't see what that woman got out of it. I don't know why she
That's
would
kind of like
agree.
euthanasia, though.
No, but the thing is, like, I've been to talks with doctors who do what is called medical aid in dying,
Mm-hmm.
and it exists, and it's much more pleasant than having your blood like being bitten and killed would be more pleasant than having your blood vacuumed out of your veins while you just lay there. She's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, it'll help out the vampires. I'll die horribly." Like it just didn't really make sense at the end. It was just a way to involve his mom and show you that like he
Mm.
still had a relationship with his mom because when they do medical aid in dying, they put poison in ice cream and you eat it and then you die.
That's wild. I didn't know about the ice cream. That's crazy.
It's like sorbet, and they
That's
talk about
crazy.
at these talks they talk about it a lot. They're like, it can't be regular ice cream, it can't be gelato. Like the sorbet is just the right consistency
Wow.
that essentially the poison is able to be absorbed into their body
Wow.
correctly, and then they just sort of taper down and get tired and fall asleep and then stop breathing.
Hmm.
And it's like fairly, like not a horrible way to go, bad experience sort of a
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So it's just sort of like, as someone who knows a lot about that process and that exists,
Hmm.
I'm just like, in what world would you ever say, yeah, fucking vacuum my veins dry so that you two
Well,
cute kids can
in
have
what world are those two not getting stopped in the hallway for carrying big ass fucking suitcases and shit?
Oh my God. The other day me and Amanda decided to like take a walk around our apartment complex for like
Mm,
30 minutes just to like get some movement that day.
mm.
And as we were walking around in front of one of our neighbors' doors, they just had a full ball jug full of piss. A full piss jug
Fuck.
just sitting on their
What the
fucking
fuck,
porch.
bro?
We walked past and Amanda was like, "Is that a piss jug? That's a fucking piss jug." And I was like, "Yo, what the
That's-
fuck?" So, if we clocked that, I think people in the in the hospital would clock all the blood jars. But it just didn't make sense. It should have been them going to some guy who's standing on a rooftop and like even while they're on their way to meet with him, he's thinking about jumping, but he can't quite do it. And then he's just like, "Yeah, suck me dry, bro." Like that should have been the ending. But they wanted to like include his mom and let you know because
Yeah.
ultimately, and I was thinking this right before that scene, in Suicide, no matter what, everyone else, there's so many other people involved. Maybe you have siblings, maybe you have a big family, maybe you don't, but
Mhm.
ultimately your mom is going to care. And
Yeah.
anyone who's ever thought about it a lot, which both of us have,
Hmm.
has had the thought of, God, I would do it if not for her. There were times where I was like, look, as soon as my mom dies, I'll kill
Yep.
myself. I
Yep.
can't I gotta wait.
Yeah.
There's an order of operations
Unfortunately,
here.
yeah, I've heard that it's too common of a story. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's good that I felt that way because now I don't feel that
Yeah,
way. But
exactly.
it
Yep.
had that little
Yeah.
stumbling block there.
Yep.
So that's the whole thing is like, your mom is ultimately going to be affected one way or another. So to like put a bow on it and have it be a happy ending, they needed to show that she like still
She accepts it.
saw.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's kind of weird to think that this lady, from the rest of her characterization, it just seems kind of weird that she's just like, "Oh, you're a semi-immortal being now? That's okay. At least you
You'll
found
always
somewhere to
be my
belong,
baby boy.
you silly little fella." I think really I think there's a lot of like missed potential here.
Hmm.
I think it should have.
Roll into your rating. Roll it, go into it. Go.
Okay.
We rate out of 6 on the show. Go ahead.
I think uh I think ultimately, like, if I was writing it, I think you start at the end, or the end happens 20 minutes into it, and then something to do with like them going around being humanist vampires is
Mm-hmm.
where the actual like conflict comes from. Like maybe the people running these groups like find out about it, and so they're like, yo, I'm trying to stop people from killing themselves, you're enabling people to kill
Yeah,
themselves.
yeah.
Which, like, in a weird way, this movie, even though like it's kind of about suicide, it's kind of not. It ultimately is sort of like, hey, as long as like somebody gets something out of it, it's sort of okay to kill yourself, you know?
I don't know if I got all of that out of it, but I can see where where the argument could be made for that.
Because he's like, look, these people want to kill themselves anyway, so let's just help them kill themselves.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like,
Where it's kind of where he was at with it too.
yeah,
You
and
know what I mean?
it's like I do think that like the medical aid in dying, I think that's a good thing.
Oh yeah,
I think that
100%.
it
Yeah.
because
Same.
it's only for people who are terminal. It's only for
Hmm.
people who are in absolute agony.
Yeah.
And when you're in absolute agony every waking second, and the doctor says you have 12 months to live, it's fucked up. But there's people who hear that and go, Jesus, I have to that long? You know?
I can't even take it when someone tells me, "Can we talk later?"
Yeah.
Like, fuck you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I'm
absolutely
supposed to
not.
sit on this for 12 months. Yeah.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
No,
So yeah,
that's real. That's real.
100%, 100%.
But yeah, as far as like straight up just being, 18 years old and trying to fucking strangle yourself where I
Yeah.
have been,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, that's not good. We should not be enabling that.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
yeah, I'm pretty conflicted overall, but I did get like some decent laughs, and it was a good, like, afternoon flick, you know
Hmm.
what I mean?
Hmm.
But yeah, probably like a 4 out of 6. I
4.
think I
That's pretty
think
good.
I would give it maybe a 3.5.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's still
Uh,
generous. I thought. I mean, I thought you were gonna be more a lower point of
no,
it.
no, I don't like absolutely hate it,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not
They're just kind of like plot points that you think could have been picked up or
yeah, I
yeah,
think
placed somewhere else or
I've said this a few times about some of the more contemporary movies in the past couple of years. I think a couple more drafts
would have done better.
would benefit a lot of these
Hmm.
movies.
Hmm.
Just don't rush it. It doesn't have to be airtight. Obviously, it's like all the killing and the like vampire society and stuff.
Yeah.
There's like some
Yeah.
some kind of questions there, which is what like reminded me of What We Do in the Shadows. The
That's
whole
exactly
just
why I
like
loved it. Yeah.
and even when they all popped up at the end was very much
Very,
like
very what we do in the
it's
shadows. Yeah.
it's like, I think Suzanne Collins is her name, the lady who wrote
Hmm.
the Hunger Games. She claims that she has no idea what Battle Royale is. Fuck her, she's a liar. There's
Yeah,
there's
now
ab- there's
absolutely I'm
absolutely
on
no
that
way.
ship now. Fuck
There's
that. There's no
absolutely
way.
no fucking
The thing
way.
called the thing you're basing your entire fucking plot point on? Yeah, absolutely not. There's no
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
There's
She
literally
she
no way.
she claims she has no idea what Battle Royale is, but like now she knows
Fucking
because people like tell her
that's
about it,
absurd, bro. That's fucking
There's
absurd.
there's no way. You don't parallel think that hard.
Yeah, yeah,
You literally just lift a whole art piece and then go this, but this. So
yeah. Hmm.
same thing. I would be absolutely fucking furious if this person said, "I don't know what Let the Right One In and what we do in the shadows are." at that point I would be like, I fucking hate this movie. It's trash. But at this point, it's like even like the casting of JP, it's like you clearly know,
What this
what you
show is and like
what you're
what,
lifting
yeah,
from, and that's
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
A
yeah,
good artists are inspired, great artists
yeah.
steal,
Yep,
but
exactly.
it's yeah, that's what would tear it for me is just like, oh, I didn't know there was another funny vampire thing. I'd be like, fuck you.
Yeah, 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 for sure. Yeah, for sure. I think it does do a good job of like calling back to a lot of things because again, you have also the rules for the vampires are clearly set in there. You have the concept of turning them and how, if you don't finish, that's something that's been in vampire lore forever.
All this was
And
missing was a football game against werewolves.
yeah, exactly. It's
All it was
completely
missing.
circuit. Yeah.
If I wouldn't be mad if we got if this director went on to make like Humanist Werewolf.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I
Like
would
yeah, something else in that vein. Yeah.
like similar but different.
Hmm.
Same kind of thing of like a werewolf who's a vegetarian.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
a
exactly. It's just that's a funny ass concept right there. It made me laugh. Yeah, I'm fucking down.
let me send a telegram to Quebec.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's really good. Like I don't know. I kind of feel similarly, and like now that we've like talked about it, and like you're right. Like there are plot points that I'm just like, yeah, you kind of just did nothing with that. You know what I mean? You kind of just you had a good idea, but you didn't stick to landing. I understand
Hmm
that, and I do agree with that. But I think overall, like I said, I was looking for a fun time, and that's exactly what I got when I put this movie on. I got a great time again because I'm such a massive fan of What We Do in the Shadows. I immediately it clicked for me. I was like, oh, okay, I fuck with this. Like that's cool. Like that's fine. I love this, and again, I think the way that the suicide aspect is like not the tone of it isn't very like serious. It's not heavy. I don't think that that does any like harm to the movie either because it is like I mean, shit, we make dark jokes all the fucking time. You know what I mean? Our personal lives and shit, and even like with our circle of friends and shit. That's kind of the bleak humor, the nihilistic humor that one is gonna get just from living the life that we have.
hmm Yeah, I get that. It's just the difference of making a joke and also just being like, this is how we become good guys.
Yeah, it is a weird thing to kind of like seemingly justify, like the murder of humans, but it is
Fuck,
also a way like they gotta do mental gymnastics too.
fucking Nick Fury turns around in his chair and he's got like the head of fucking Smith and Wesson and the NRA and fucking these vampires and he's like, I'm
Yeah, it's
building a
Hydra.
team. I'm building and the owner of the pre-tied noose company.
It's
He's like, I'm building a team. We're
pre-type.
trying to
So
we're gonna help teens kill themselves.
So yeah, I think ultimately, and that's the thing too. It wins mad points for the way it was shot. Beautifully fucking constructed film, edited very well too. Like I said, there was a couple edits in here that I like really like. I loved. I loved. They were very seamless. They were very like the editing in here also helped the comedy. The comedy and
hmm
it was fantastic. I think it was again very lighthearted, there as compared to what the fuck we cover on this show, and what the fuck we're going to cover on this show.
hmm
It's very much like in the vein of like yeah, throw it on for the family. You know what I mean? Like it sounds dark. It sounds dark, but like I think like really there's something in there for everybody. I
hmm
think and that's why I think it's a really good it really is one for the whole family. As weird as that is to say about a movie that's on our show. But very competently done, excellent cinematography. The performances were fantastic. I loved it. I would probably also give it a 4 out of 6, and I probably would even go up to a 5 on a good day. But I just think Yeah, the for me the rewatchability is if like someone hadn't seen this and they were like, I'm not in the mood for like a dark horror movie, but I can kind of go for a horror movie tonight. I'm like, all right, fuck it, let's just do this one tonight.
Hmm.
Like that's kind of like where the rewatch value is for me.
We needed to come down after it. Next time you make me watch fucking when we watch Solo, I'll watch this after to
Oh
calm down.
man, yes, straight. I was thinking about that too, man. When we get to Solo, that's gonna be a 4 hour goddamn episode. That's fucked up, man. And you know what? I'll just tell you right now, I love that movie. I genuinely love that movie. It's a very fucking well made film. Not gonna get into that right now, but you guys, you want to hit them with the socials?
Yeah, you can find us on Facebook at the Devil's Work Podcast, Instagram, the Devil's Work Pod, TikTok, the Devil's Work Podcast. You can reach us at the Devil's Work Podcast at gmail.com.
Yep.
We are on YouTube. Just search that four-word phrase that you've heard several times now. Uh, you can catch Sideshow on twitch.tv/sideshow. Spell it
Mm-hmm.
right, PSY, where
Yep.
he streams himself getting crushed by Elden Ring bosses, but he's almost
Yeah.
done with
Today,
those. So,
today was rough, man. I took a pretty fucking serious beating from Radon, and
yeah, well, he will
fuck
do
that
that.
asshole.
He
Fuck
will
that
do that.
asshole.
You know, the love of a good twink will empower a man.
So good. Yeah, we gotta start doing it too. I wanna incorporate more of this show on that stream. So we'll probably do it where we'll do like watch alongs with me and you.
I was just thinking I should just coach you in Elden Ring because
There you
I
go.
was
Yeah,
watching some of your
exactly.
gameplay and I was like, oh, you should be dodging into that one, you know.
See, literally, yes, please, let's fucking do that for real. That's
That'll be pretty
awesome.
funny. We should do that.
Absolutely. All right, yeah. So you guys go check that out. Go follow us on Twitch then. And I think next week we are oh man. I just remember I got a cold feeling remembering what we're doing next week.
Oh, I'm having a
Uh
hard time remembering it. I don't have the spreadsheet in front of me.
it's a piece of furniture.
Oh, it's a piece of furniture.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the
Where you would
coffee
enjoy an
table.
aperitif with someone.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah. This is gonna be scarring some people.
Dude, we
Let's
just got
fucking
out
be
of Irreversible and Henry, bro.
let's be frank about that. So we'll be rerunning Humanist Vampire
Yeah.
after that. So get
It's
ready.
just gonna roll into
Yeah, a little peek under the curtain. We did these
yeah.
out of order. That's hence my confusion.
Yeah,
But
bro, but god damn the coffee tape, dude. That just if you can handle it, watch that movie. But good lord, that one left us shook.
yeah.
There's a fucking aura about that movie, man. That motherfucker, we'll talk about it more. But it was the first one we've been able to watch in a while now together in person. We actually
Hmm.
watched that movie in person.
We docked while we watched it.
Fuck. That's
What? I didn't do anything except for dock with you.
Damn it. Thank you for joining the show today.
That's actually my
Yes.
new social media app I'm trying to start. It's called Dick Doc.
TikTok.
And it's all videos of guys docking. Wait, no, this exists. This exists. It's Pornhub.
Exactly. There's just
God
another
damn
tab on
it.
the hub for
Oh,
that.
oh boy.
All right, you guys.
Imagine
Thank
getting
you.
copyright stricken by Pornhub's lawyers.
We can't afford it.
That'd be interesting. I'd be like, what the fuck is this? I'd be like, Amanda, I didn't order it. I don't, what?
Well, I don't even know what that is.
It would be the least
Pornography? Is that how you say it?
it would be the least effective serving of legal papers possible. It's just like no one's opening that. Their lawyer is just like, I cannot get anyone to fucking show up to a court date. What is happening here?
Oh, fuck, dude. So thank you guys for joining us today. We will see you guys next week with even more fucking nightmarish fuel. Man, that's gonna be a rough one. It's a great episode, but god damn is it rough. This is a fucking hard one to sit through. Hard one to stomach, much like us. Thank you guys.